The story opens with Marty McFly and his girlfriend Jennifer Parker are outside Marty's house in 1985. Suddenly, Dr. Emmett Doc Brown arrives in the DeLorean time machine, urgently insisting that they accompany him to the future. He exclaims about Marty's kids. Marty, Jennifer, and Doc get into the DeLorean. As they prepare to depart, Marty expresses concern about the limited road space. Doc responds, "Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads." The DeLorean then lifts off the ground and flies into the sky, leaving Biff Tannen watching in astonishment as they vanish. The DeLorean emerges above Hill Valley on October 21, 2015. The cityscape is a blend of futuristic technology and familiar landmarks. Jennifer is overwhelmed by the futuristic surroundings and starts asking questions. Concerned that she might interfere with the timeline, Doc uses a sleep-inducing alpha rhythm generator to render her unconscious. He explains to Marty that it's for her own safety. Doc lands the DeLorean in an alleyway to avoid drawing attention. To blend in, Doc gives Marty futuristic clothing, self-lacing Nike shoes, an auto-adjusting and drying jacket, and a color-changing cap. He warns Marty not to interact with anyone else and to be cautious about altering the timeline. Doc explains to Marty that in this future, his son Marty McFly Jr. is approached by Biff Tannen to participate in a robbery. If Marty Jr. agrees, it will set off a chain reaction that ruins the McFly family's future. Doc's plan is for Marty to impersonate his son and refuse Griff's offer, thus preventing the crime. Marty steps into Hill Valley's town square, marveling at the advancements. A giant holographic shark promotes Jaws 19, startling Marty. He notices that the courthouse now houses the Hill Valley Courthouse Mall. Marty enters the Cafe 80s, a nostalgic diner filled with 1980s memorabilia. The cafe features virtual waiters modeled after icons like Michael Jackson and Ronald Reagan. Marty orders a Pepsi Perfect, which is delivered via a robotic arm. Old Biff Tannen, displaying his bullying demeanor, mistakes Marty for Marty Jr. and brings up the tragic suicide of his grandfather, George McFly. Meanwhile, Biff Tannen and his gang arrive at the cafe, ordering his grandfather to clean their car outside. Inside, Marty encounters two young boys struggling with an arcade game. He demonstrates his skill at Wild Gunman, impressing them until they remark that using hands is like a baby's toy, highlighting the advancement of gaming technology. Marty Jr. enters the cafe, making Marty hide behind the counter. Biff is aggressive and imposing, with cybernetic implants that enhance his abilities. Biff confronts Marty Jr. about participating in the planned robbery. Biff pressures Marty Jr. to join the heist. Marty Jr. tries to decline politely, but Biff becomes agitated. Biff and his gang bully Marty Jr., throwing him behind the counter where he passes out. Marty replaces his son and confronts Biff. Despite the provocation, Marty remembers Doc's warnings and refuses the offer. When Biff calls him chicken, Marty reacts defensively, his pride being a known weakness. Enraged, Biff swings a telescopic bat at Marty. Marty dodges and flees the cafe. Outside, he grabs a hoverboard from a little girl, a levitating skateboard, and attempts to escape. Biff and his gang give chase on their own advanced hoverboards, including Biff's Pitbull board, which is faster and more powerful. Marty attempts to cross a small pond, but the hoverboard loses power over water. He begins to sink, helpless as Biff and his gang approach. Biff taunts Marty, preparing to strike him with the bat. At the last moment, Marty jumps onto the water, causing Biff to miss and crash into the courthouse's glass windows. Watching the incident from afar, old Biff reflects on having gone through a similar experience himself. Marty emerges from the water as his jacket automatically dries itself by blowing the water away. An elderly man approaches him, requesting a donation to preserve the clock tower. While talking, Marty notices a headline announcing the Cubs' victory in the World Series against Miami. Marty enters Blast from the Past, a store selling antique items. He buys Gray's Sports Almanac 1950 to 2000, thinking he can use it to place bets in 1985 and secure financial success. The cashier comments on the nostalgia of printed books. Doc picks up Marty in the DeLorean as Biff spots Marty Jr. leaving the cafe. Recognizing Marty, Biff grows suspicious of his presence in 2015. Meanwhile, the police arrest Griff and his gang. Doc and Marty notice that the newspaper headline has changed to "Griff and Gang Jailed," confirming they have successfully prevented the future event Doc feared. Satisfied, they prepare to return home. Doc notices the almanac. He scolds Marty for attempting to profit from time travel, emphasizing the potential dangers of altering the timeline. Police officers find the unconscious Jennifer in the alley. Scanning her fingerprints, they identify her as Jennifer McFly and decide to take her home. Doc and Marty realize that Jennifer is being transported to her future home, risking a temporal paradox if she encounters her future self. Doc throws the almanac into a trash can, unaware that old Biff is watching them. Biff notices the discarded sports almanac in the window of Blast from the Past and contemplates its significance. Doc and Marty track the police car to the McFly residence. Jennifer awakens inside the futuristic McFly home. Confused, she explores the house, witnessing advanced appliances like voice-activated controls, dehydrated pizzas, and wall-mounted video screens. She hides as she hears someone approaching. Doc warns Marty about the catastrophic consequences of meeting one's future self. They plan to retrieve Jennifer without being seen. Meanwhile, Biff secretly follows Marty to the McFly residence. At the same time, old Marty returns home and receives a video call from his coworker, Needles, who manipulates him into agreeing to an illegal deal. Succumbing to peer pressure, Marty swipes his ID card, agreeing to the scheme. Immediately, his boss, Edoti Fujitsu, appears on screen, firing him for misconduct. Hidden in a closet, Jennifer overhears the entire exchange. Shocked by the state of her future family, she wonders how things went so wrong. Their children, Marlene and Marty Jr., exhibit typical teenage behavior. While Doc and Marty are occupied, old Biff steals the DeLorean. He sets the time circuits to 1955, intending to give the almanac to his younger self to alter his fortunes. The older Jennifer, Marty's wife, encounters her younger self. Both are shocked, letting out simultaneous screams before fainting from the surprise. Meanwhile, Biff secretly returns the DeLorean. While exiting, he accidentally breaks his cane, leaving the piece behind and departs unnoticed. Doc and Marty carry the unconscious younger Jennifer out of the house, evading detection by the family members. As they leave, Doc remarks on the dangers they've narrowly avoided. Unaware of Biff's actions, Doc, Marty, and Jennifer return to 1985. Marty takes Jennifer home. Doc departs to destroy the time machine, believing their mission is complete. Marty notices changes in his neighborhood. He enters his house, only to be attacked by a frightened family who now resides there. The streets are filled with crime, graffiti, and dilapidated buildings. Marty wanders through Hill Valley, discovering it has become a dystopian wasteland. Marty encounters Strickland, the former principal, who is now a vigilante. Strickland informs Marty that the school was destroyed 6 years ago and warns him to leave. Biff Tannen has transformed the town into his personal empire, complete with a towering casino hotel called Biff Tannen's Pleasure Paradise. The streets are overrun with violence and corruption. While exploring the area, Marty is ambushed by Biff's henchmen and knocked unconscious. When he regains consciousness, he finds himself in an upscale house with his mother, Lorraine, by his side. She reveals that she is now married to Biff and informs him that his father, George, has passed away. Marty visits the graveyard and is horrified to find his father's tombstone, indicating George McFly died in 1973. Doc appears and explains that the timeline has been altered due to Biff obtaining the sports almanac and using it to amass his fortune. They deduce that old Biff stole the DeLorean to deliver the almanac to his younger self in 1955. Doc emphasizes that they cannot travel to the future to stop old Biff because the future has been altered. Their only option is to fix the past. Doc and Marty realize they must return to 1955 to prevent Biff from receiving the almanac. Marty confronts Biff in his penthouse suite. The walls are adorned with portraits of Biff and memorabilia of his achievements. Biff reveals that he was given the sports almanac by some old codger and used it to amass his fortune. He confesses to killing George McFly, and tries to intimidate Marty into accepting the altered reality. When Biff attempts to shoot him, Marty narrowly escapes by jumping from the roof onto the DeLorean piloted by Doc Brown. During the commotion, Biff is knocked unconscious. Marty and Doc then flee and travel back to November 12, 1955, the same day the events of the first film unfold. Marty spends the day following young Biff, stealthily sneaking into his car to observe him. He watches as Biff bullies children and interacts with Lorraine. As evening approaches, Biff heads to the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Marty follows, aware that his other self is also there, ensuring his parents' romance unfolds correctly. Marty narrowly avoids being seen by his other self and his parents. After George knocks Biff out with a punch, Marty retrieves the almanac from Biff's pocket and delivers another punch to keep him unconscious before hurrying away. He observes his parents bidding farewell to the other version of himself. However, Biff soon regains consciousness, confronts Marty, overpowers him to reclaim the almanac, and flees in his car. Doc arrives and they chase Biff. The chase escalates as they race through the town square. Marty grabs his hoverboard from the DeLorean. In a tense showdown, Marty manages to wrestle the almanac away from Biff while he is driving. Biff attempts to run Marty down with his car, but just in time, Doc rescues Marty using a flagpole. Biff loses control of his car and crashes into a manure truck, mirroring his embarrassing mishap from the first film. Marty burns the almanac, watching as the newspapers revert to their original states. George McFly is alive, and Biff's empire is erased from history. The timeline begins to correct itself. As they prepare to return to 1985, a sudden storm intensifies. Doc hovers in the DeLorean, ready to pick up Marty. A lightning bolt strikes the DeLorean, causing it to vanish abruptly. Marty is left stranded in 1955, shocked and dismayed. A Western Union courier arrives, delivering a 70-year-old letter to Marty. The letter is from Doc, explaining that he was sent back to 1885 and is now living in the Old West. He instructs Marty on how to find the 1955 Doc to help him return to his own time. Marty races to find the 1955 version of Doc Brown, who is celebrating the success of sending the original Marty back to 1985. Doc is astonished to see Marty again, exclaiming, "Great Scott," before fainting from the shock. A teaser trailer for Back to the Future Part 3 is shown, featuring scenes of Marty navigating the Wild West and further time-traveling exploits. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.